Hey, it's Dan here, and today we're going to do a experiment. We're using the cleanse. This is our breakfast for today, and so we are having an argument about which citrus fruit works better for the cleanse.
As in taste test kind of thing. Like, I like the grapefruit, but Dad kind of thinks like the tangelos make the best. I don't know.
I think the oranges are the best.
Oranges, okay.
And I don't
we'll
even see Box O Citrus. So what we've got here are the best. These are from.
Whoa.
Did we get those from?
These are from someone else.
We're gonna do orange first. And so we're going to just make some juice, and then we'll. Oh, you cut, and I will.
Okay. All right.
I already did that. The cleanse actually is made up of the number one ingredient is hibiscus, and hibiscus. That's a lot of essential oils. The hibiscus is actually good as an anti-inflammatory. Garbage. And it's also good for lowering cholesterol, and it's good for the liver. Oh, that's a badass, boy. Woo!
Oh my gosh.
Take pictures?
Kinda. Just show them.
And then the next ingredient is actually psyllium husk. And the psyllium husk has like soluble and insoluble fiber. So what that does is it not only, I'm getting blasted, it not only sweeps the colon clean as this herbal supplement passes through, but it also helps the stools to maintain some bulk by holding on to some water. With the soluble fiber, that is what allows that feeds the microorganisms, and that's what keeps the gut lining healthy, and that's what you see in our modern society is everybody's guts are being ripped to pieces because, well, for various reasons. Suffice to say, the first place where people start to unravel, particularly in our modern society because of the excessive use of antibiotics and the exposure to pesticides for the last, industrial agriculture. I mean, grandma was growing some fruits and vegetables, and she was doing it organically, and more people had nutrient-dense organic foods that were not sprayed with antibiotics and chemicals that cause birth defects. So slowly but surely, mankind is diminishing. There's a whole conspiracy. It's not a theory. It's not common knowledge because the powers that be keep the masses dumbed down with artificial knowledge and artificial information through the mainstream media, and now the chemical conglomerates have bought out the social media as well. So no truth is allowed anymore, and self-empowerment for human beings is no longer allowed. So while we're going to be able to get away with it a little bit more, we'll speak in code. We'll just pretend like we're offering a little thing that's beneficial, and then we'll share some knowledge with you on the DL so that you can become illuminated and you can start looking at the way you're treating your temple. Can you dig it? I know that you can. So next on the list is the peppermint. And peppermint is basically, so I'm going in order of the amount. So it's basically like hibiscus flower, 984 milligrams, psyllium husk, 960 milligrams, peppermint leaf, 450 milligrams, licorice root, 450 milligrams, cascara sagrada, 150 milligrams, and ginseng, 3 milligrams, and corn silk, 3 milligrams. So the peppermint, as you know, is good for, used in tea, or used in this sense, is good for, gas, bloating, indigestion. that type of thing. And it calms and soothes inflammation in the gastrointestinal tract. The next ingredient is, so let's mix these bad boys up.
Cool.
I'll let you do that so
Yep.
it seems like you're not just standing there.
It's all good. I'm just listening.
Okay, good.
And I'm just taking it in because I didn't know this stuff either, but I love the cleanse.
Well, you're the one that inspired me, so
Yeah.
we're going to be taking a lot of cleanse this morning because she just put a full tablespoon in. And we're
Am I
going to do
not
3,
supposed to?
so we'll do till tomorrow morning.
Oh, God. Okay.
Anyway, I'm not even going to, I stopped because I had all these jokes that just came to my head about that I had to clean the toilet this morning.
Oh, maybe that's too much.
No, to do the whole thing. This is our breakfast.
It is,
So we're going to have
actually.
hella cleanse because I was going to think,
Okay.
just put a little bit for each one and then we'll try it out. But you know what? We're
Well,
about to, tomorrow
okay.
morning is going to be, we ain't going to go nowhere. No yoga, no fitness training, no
It's like,
hiking, no
oh.
market. We got to stay at home because this psyllium husk is about to clean us out. So let's see. This is the OJ.
OJ, yes. No, it's not. This is...
No, that was oranges.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Dude.
You're right.
And
Thought it
then
was
we're, then we're going to do oranges, we're going to do grapefruit, and then we're going to do Tangelo.
Okay.
And I've never done Tangelo. I've only done
I'm
orange,
stoked. I've never
grapefruit,
even done the
and
orange.
apple. And of course, I just do it, soldier style. Yeah.
Just
Have you
Pop
done it?
No.
The other thing about the cleanse that you need to know that you can get from Pyridine is that you can get it in the capsules. And for the most part, I do recommend the capsules. It's just a lot easier. This is a little bit more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot because, when they go to encapsulated, that takes a little
Yeah.
time and energy. And I'm just a soldier. And
What do you-
I personally, as a advocate for the herbs and the cleanse formula, I would say that I would prefer to, myself. And I would say if you really wanted my recommendation, I would say, use the powder. So you get more for your money, and it helps to, it's more of it starts working like in your mouth. The capsules, you don't get quite as much for your money,
It's
but
true.
they are easier. So whenever I'm doing consultations, I'm like, whatever is easier for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it easier for capsules? Because some of the kids that I work helping, like the autistic kids or whatever,
Yeah.
they're more likely to take the capsules
That's
than
true.
to eat the powders or whatever, or
Yeah.
to eat it like this.
Yeah.
So let's see what we got here with the
Okay.
OJ.
Solid. Little bitter, but it's good. Actually, it's actually really good. Yeah.
The cleanse is very unique. The peppermint, they did the best they could to take bitter herbs because it's the bitter herbs that have an astringent, pulling, and tonifying quality
Yeah.
on all the tissues, but the liver especially, and that's why human beings are just kind of turning into like blobby donuts because they don't get those dandelion greens, those bitter herbs that keep the cells toned and tight.
It's true.
And this cleanse is bitter herbs. And then what they did over there at Pyridine was they worked quite a while on this formula to get it to where it's, doable.
But
Because
it's really not bad.
no, it's
at
not
all. bad.
bad, but it isn't like, oh, I want to eat that for breakfast. It's
Right,
not
it's
like,
not cake.
the
Like-
people that have done the Purium. If you've ever done like the Purium, it's like, this tastes like cake. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm doing this 40-day cleanse on the Purium
Yeah.
with my friend, and I'm sitting there eating this stuff like right out of the thing, and I'm like, this is like cake. You know what I'm saying? Because it's got the rice solubles, the rice bran. My friend's going to come and do a Purium video because, she, I have a couple of friends. One of them has helped hella people to get healthy with organic superfoods. And then another one has totally transformed her autistic child. Because
Yeah.
using supplements and herbs and stuff, it's kind of got a bad name. But I really think that people need to stay open-minded because there's so many different scenarios. Like, I do consults every day, and every single person is so different and needs something different that it's awesome to have, all these different tools in the toolbox.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And so
Exactly.
when you have knowledge of fasting and herbs and juices and even using cooked foods and different. I got a bunch of herbs over there, a bunch of herbs up there, to learn how to gently nourish the body, cleanse it and nourish it back to health in a totally insane world where sickness is
the norm.
Sickness is the norm because it's the plan. And unless you are aware of the sickness industry, then you might not be aware of paying attention to all the things you need to pay attention to. I'm going to put together a program very soon for my website, for my online school, where we'll go in deep again, because we can't really do that here. You got to admit, look at Facebook, look at YouTube, look at Google. It's all pharmaceutical stuff, and you just want to say, I like fruits and vegetables, it's cool, blah, 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 and don't get sick and be well, and you just keep it like low key. But then over there on the website, you just blast it with the truth. Like, this is what you got to look out for, because this is what's going on and has been going on for forever within human consciousness. The emperor 5,000 years ago was keeping the subjects down. And nothing has ever changed. Then the king and the peasants, taxing them to death, taking everything. And nothing's changed. That's just a part of human consciousness. More for me, less for you,
Yeah.
Instead of having an enlightened consciousness which understands the laws of nature, where it's like we all thrive or we all do not thrive. Mm-hmm. So either you're generous or you're poor. Because if you're a billionaire and you're hurting people, you are a poor, sick, sad soul. But even if you are the lady at church with Jesus, and she gave the last that she had, she was the richest one upon the earth. Can you dig it?
Amen.
That inspires me. So this is pretty good. I like the orange.
This is pretty good. I like it a lot.
The orange is my fallback.
Okay.
Always for this.
Yeah.
And the main thing is your colon is, when it comes to weight loss, when it comes to depression, when it comes to cancer, immune system disorders, stress, all of it. It's the colon is here's the thing, the whole world is a bunch of drug addicts. Even, and I don't mean to, because who am I to talk, but if I would have known better, maybe that was my experience, all those things, and it just, none of them work. At the end of the day, you get rid of all of it, and you go to the ultimate medicine. It's already inside of you. It's inside of all of us. You get more of it every breath you take by being. Being is the ultimate medicine. And when you figure that out, you'll just dissolve into nothing, and everything will just work itself out perfectly. But that's a whole nother conversation in and of itself. But the drug addictions, the drug use, and I'm talking about people, it's like everything that's become normalized,
like coffee.
Okay, that's what was kind of popping into my head. I don't want to offend anyone, and I'm not here to food police anyone, but I'm just saying, we got people that are, this is the best diet in the world, and I can't get going in the morning. I can't take a crap, and I can't get going in the morning without a cup of coffee. So I'm thinking, wait a minute, is that how the Creator made it? And I'm thinking, not really. You know what I'm saying? So there's a thickness of the blood, and then there is the thinness and the purity of the blood. But let's keep it on the colon for now, though. And I mean, I could go on forever, and we'll get into some stuff. I'm gonna make some really cool classes for the online school. That's coming real soon. And you know what? So here's what I'm telling to my hardcore viewers right now. Check it out. I'm not even gonna have, on this next one, I'm not even gonna have an outline. I'm going to do what I'm doing right here. We had a couple ideas or whatever, and we're like 15 minutes in, and we haven't even gotten to the second juice yet. But I was going to be like, we're going to make a long one. So what I'm saying is, though, that I'm going to just make a video, and I'm going to make like a 90-minute class that I do on the website, like we always do with the online school and the products that I do with Ricky and the Breslin Media Group. And I'll make a billion videos slamming you every day. Hey, it's Dan, I had something to sell. But those are the ones where I can't. It's like the pharmaceutical companies have bought everything. And the truth cannot be told. And we cannot have these conversations. We can talk about your colon, but But, you know, and we can mention like it's good to go organic, so you're avoiding pesticides, but you can't get into the details too much because it's just too much of a risk. People get nixed, they get taken off the game board because they're sharing too much information. And, you know, there's this thing up here, which is a small group, and then all the people down here who just turn the other way, turn their face the other way, turn their consciousness down, turn it off. Their consciousness and their conscience to get the paycheck.
Yeah.
You know?
Because that's the way things are set up.
Yeah. But but your soul is worth more than all the gold in the world. But most of us never even really had a chance because of the propaganda to experience the soul. You know, so we as spiritual beings have to, in a world like this, sometimes you got to fight for it because the darkness is using these tools of darkness to diminish your ability to self-realize, to be like, oh my God, I don't need anything. I am everything. And then it's a simple, maybe you have a little snack every day, you know? And you don't have to be a major consumer, and you're not chasing after a bunch of stuff. You're more of a creative being instead of thinking, how can I maximize the fruits of my labor? How can I get more? But it's more like, how can I give more? You know, like a millionaire that's greedy is totally different in my book than a millionaire who's really truly giving. There's all this philanthropy, but it's for tax purposes and it's a front to make the people look good when they're really just trying to, you know, ixnay on the population. Can you dig it? So the question is are you going to survive the culling? So that's why I'm here to just help humanity, you know, like with some simple common sense basic stuff.
Yeah.
Inside this fruit, the fruit and the tree protects itself. Now that's why I understand people talking bad these days about vegetables. Grandma and grandpa, grandma and grandpa, well, grandma was eating ding dongs and drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes, but great grandma, you know, she was like Norwegian gardening, cucumbers, tomatoes, and big old stuff with organic stuff, and she was grubbing that, and the vegetables were great. Nowadays, I can't give no one no problem because the fallout from the sky, the direct spraying, the soil is terrible, so the plants aren't uptaking nutrition.
Yeah.
So everyone's starving to death while stuffing themselves, you know, full of denatured food. So we need to get educated so that we can make good decisions, and there's a lot of tools. And then we have all this crap on the internet about the food wars. I made the thing on the Instagram, and I'm like, I'm done with the food wars. Eat whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really not, I know what I do, you know. I'm not going to try to force that on anybody, but there's some knowledge that we all need to stick together as a human race to work together with each other. Otherwise, the infighting, the black against the white, the Christian against the Muslims, the straights against the gays, you know, everyone's fighting the politics, the Democrats versus Republicans. It's all stupid because we are killing each other down here, and then they're just like laughing at us like, look at these dumb frogs boiling in a hot pot. You know, and we're like distracting each other with dumb crap like diet, and then you see the dumb crap that's like people wasting their lives away with fake weddings and these retards on the internet, you know, that are just, it's drama, and it's like, this is where the most amount of attention goes. Like, how foolish can you act? How much can you stuff in your face in a short amount of time, you know? And all these things where it's not wisdom, you know, it's not wise. Your life is a precious, your temple, it's here for a purpose, you know? So anyways, that was enough of a rant there.
For sure. Or I'm not agreeing with you, but I'm just saying, like, word.
I mean, you know, well, once I get going, it's been a while. So we got to keep moving then. So we're going to, this is tangerines, which obviously it appears that you wanted to do that next. That was a little prop. Here. All I had was those was for a prop.
No, so actually,
well, let's just juice them now.
We'll just do it.
Unless you want to eat them.
Nope, let's just do it.
We're not going to get much out of that. But,
yeah,
and
but we can just try it.
You can chop these We'll do the grapefruits next.
Yes. That's
So
what I'm
you know what? We'll just
holding out
mix.
for.
We'll mix these with the tangelos. So these are.
Okay.
We have. It's citrus season right now, and dude, I'm telling you. I mean, citrus is it. Citrus is the best food. So when you combine the citrus with the cleanse, then yeah, you know what I'm saying.
So
When you
good.
combine the citrus with the cleanse, you're getting all the herbal properties of the cleanse, and you're getting the mucus dissolving properties of the fruit acids and citrus. And it's winter everywhere. And I know it's freezing ass cold. So
Most
what you
places.
do is you get the oranges and you leave them up at room temperature. And you just drink your OJ with your cleanse at room temperature. You know, like this is all refrigerated, but it's like 82 degrees and sunny here, you know,
Yeah.
in the middle of, like, it's the beginning of January.
Right.
And so we don't really have to, we don't get, you know, we go to hot yoga, we sweat, we go to the river, we get cold, you know, so, but we're not like freezing our nays off, you know what I'm saying?
Like a lot of your viewers.
So I
probably.
understand like the cooked soups and stuff like that, and it's really recommended to, you know, try to keep the, you know, the mucus low in the wintertime. But that's why in the summer you've got the cleansing, or in the spring, in the springtime you have all the cleansing herbs. Because in the wintertime most people gain weight. The holidays is one thing, but also just it's cold. You're not outside as much. The days are shorter. You know, it's more like walnuts and things like that are in season.
Yeah.
The fall crops, the starchy gourds and things like that are more cooked.
Right.
And the philosophy that I have is that, you know, our species probably did thrive in the tropics more than ever. And you see that when you live here.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you don't have to wear a shirt ever or shoes.
Or shoes.
So we go on these crazy hikes.
Barefoot.
yeah.
Get busted up, but
Oh, I got busted up the other day.
dude, I've
Sure.
got a. Oof.
We went on this dope hike. It was really, really epic.
So
I mean, it was
good.
like so beautiful.
So amazing.
Right along the coast.
I mean, it had everything.
Yeah.
It was.
And then
I think-
there's a cave at the end.
Yeah.
All these diamonds and stuff, and like
Yeah.
in this old, just like this thing. It was just like crazy.
Like last volcanic eruption on Kauai, and
But
all
so
this
my point is that you know, the tropics is probably where human beings thrive. You know, and then we went out and had to make, and there's the law of adaptation. So the human beings have adapted, and that's why we don't have the same genetic diversity, is because we utilized a lot more external, whereas a certain type of species would just stay where they were, because that
Yeah.
was the only way that they were
Right.
going to be able to survive.
right.
And so they didn't leave their habitat, so they didn't need to branch out their genetic diversity via the microorganisms from changing all the various layers in the in geography, going more and more north or more and more south outside of that band of perpetual springtime. It's 82 degrees and sunny here in Hawaii, you know, and those are some ideal conditions where, you know, the killing cold and the killing hot. It's like too damn hot, so you gotta have the AC and stay inside, or it's too damn cold. But then there are certain places where it's between 65 and 85 year round, and those conditions are favorable for the type of organism that we have, because we don't have the fur necessarily. So we've had to do a lot of adaptations in order for human beings to spread out, which is a good thing. It's, in a sense, we're almost too successful. But so I'm blessed to live in the tropics, and I don't say everyone just move to the tropics, although it's clear that there is room still eventually when there's 20 billion humans, which right now the birth rates are going down on purpose, you know what I'm saying? So this is going to get gets a little thicker towards the bottom. Birth rates are going down, and you want to keep your virility high. So you're avoiding the atrazine the antibiotics, the drugs, the chemicals, you know, and then you being exposed to these chemicals that are diminishing your testicles and the motility and the mobility and the virility of your sperm and the egg as well.
Yeah.
And each preceding generation is getting weaker and sicker and dumber and fatter. And I don't mean that to offend anyone, but we really need to wake up to that fact. Then we can start the process of the regeneration of humanity. And that's why I started the Human Regeneration Institute. And I am my very first client. And 2020 is going to be my year, because I'm going to invest my time, money, and energy into everything I've learned over the past 20 years in raw foods, living foods, fasting, and lifestyle. And then I will share that with you on my website so that I can, just have a good time, and share what I need to share in order for those who are ready to listen to somebody who does not have all the answers, but to someone who has thought about one kind of track of thinking. How do you go from like vaccine damage, sickness, diabetes, cancer? I didn't have those things, but one of the hardest things to deal with is the damage from the vaccines. And that's across the board with everyone. And so you got dunderheads abound everywhere. Mm-hmm. And they don't get it, that every single time one of those inoculations is administered, damage is done to the organism every time. So yeah, when they do these experiments and they cut these sheep open where they've been, exposed to these intramuscular inoculations, and you see what's in there and what happens to the saline group of sheep, then you got the just aluminum group. And that's not a pretty thing. But then when you get the sheep group over here that has been exposed to the full gamut and the full schedule that is really, really detrimental, they cut them open after a year and they find atrocious atrocities and scar tissue and acid crystals and blockages and adhesions that of course are going to cause immunoexcitotoxicity, nervous system damage, autoimmune diseases, dysfunctional glands, organs, the breakdown of the gastrointestinal tract and the immune system via the microorganisms. So what are we going to do? The herbologists had the whole thing until Rockefeller started giving all the money to the American Medical Association because they were killing everyone. Mm-hmm. The AMA 120 years ago was killing everyone with lead treatments, mercury treatments, bloodletting, and nothing they ever did worked. Then they started getting all the grants and just buying everything out, pushing out the chiropractors, pushing out the orthopathy, pushing out the herbologists who had it. The herbologists were the ones that were healing everyone. Mm-hmm. And then you had all these cures, the SCIAC cure, and then the Hoxie cure, just using herbs, man, which would enhance the microbes and destroy the cells that were running amok because of whatever, toxin, to oversimplify, because the list of toxins that are inimical substances to biological functions, and that's oversimplified as well, but there's no reason to get complicated. It's just simple. So let's do some more here.
Okay. Maybe we should mix it up again too.
Mix what up?
All our.
Well, this time put another in there because we can't cheat. Now it's gonna be this one's better because
You're
it's
right.
hella diluted.
You're right.
Put a tablespoon in there, man.
All right.
I'm telling you, we're gonna be on the toilet tomorrow. But no, I've done this with my clients when they come for retreats, and we do the cleanse to get them to get clear, and it's just because most of the time my diet's like I said on the Instagram post, 99% raw for 20 years, and really clean and better, improving my awareness and my understanding and my discipline and my understanding of the laws of nature and how the physiology works and how to feel your best as much as possible without eating too much or eating too little. It's a fine line. It's an art. It's a science.
It is.
And it takes a long time. You basically got to suffer a lot. Basically, that's what it is. When you suffer a lot, then you're like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. And then you learn the laws. We didn't even get to the licorice, which is in here.
Yeah.
So let's try this.
Right.
So this is licorice for the is good for food poisoning.
Where did mine go?
Here you go.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
And it's good for ulcers, and it's good for heartburn. So licorice is an herb that's used for a long time. You can chew on it, you can have tinctures, or in this case it's just powdered licorice root, finely powdered.
Okay.
So here we go.
Oops.
Word.
I like that even better.
Yeah. That really,
I know.
I mean, maybe we are used to it, so it takes the edge off. But I think
Maybe.
but it takes the edge off, right?
That's the thing.
The tangelos take the edge off. I
They
think
really do.
So the oranges
Yeah.
kind of made it a little sharper.
Mm-hmm.
This one is really smooth, and you put about the
Way
same
more
amount.
smooth. Yeah.
Now we're
No,
gonna try
actually,
the.
I think this had more because it had some left over
Oh, that's
from
right.
last time.
You're right.
Yeah.
So,
So,
let's
this
try
is
some of these pink grapefruits.
all right. We had these like at the market yesterday, and we were just saw how like beautiful and pink they are.
Oh, he gave us a sample too.
Oh, and that was what made us decide. We were like, we can't pass these up,
So the licorice is also good for repairing the stomach lining. And so basically, like, my buddy Lou, you guys know Lou. I mean, dude, the guy's, almost been raw foodist for 50 years, man. He's going to put together some damn good herbs. And the thing about these herbs, too, that's really important, and there's a reason why I only source, herbs and supplements from certain people, because I know that they do the testing. And they are very integrous about it because they've got the paperwork. And one of those companies is Pyridine. So everything, even though Pyridine isn't organic, it's still, everything is safety tested in, and then it's formulated, and then it's tested again on the way out just to make sure by a third party. And that's tested for bacteria, heavy metals, and pesticides. Can you dig it? So a lot of people, certified organic doesn't mean what it used to, and I don't want to confuse everyone, because I've found that when you go the organic route, you're going to minimize your exposure a lot. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't necessarily mean every time that, number one, they're not using organic type pesticides, or that there isn't spray coming from the fields next to them, which are not organic certified. Can you dig it? So it's good to have that third-party testing, and that's what Pyridine does, and that's why I like Pyridine, and I believe in what they're doing, because there are a few companies that care about people. Yes, we're making quality products at Pyridine, but we care about people.
Right.
And when some of these other companies got called out on the levels of lead, mercury, aluminum, and pesticides in their products, they went all hush-hush. Instead of admitting to it and trying to, address the issue and invest some money, because it takes money and it's a hassle. Believe me, I talk to Phil every month, and sometimes it can be a hassle, to deal with, because that's another thing. With the drugs, they're like, okay, these rats didn't die after taking this drug for 5 minutes. Must be safe and effective. And then it turns out that, the tumors don't start, developing until the 3rd week. So they do it for 2 weeks. So that's the thing. Everyone's like, science, science, science. And I'm like, who bought the science? Who owns the science? Science nowadays is, here's the results we want to get, so design us an experiment and get us those results. And it's all bought out, so everyone's like quoting all this science on both sides of the diet thing, the vegans and the carnivores, and then all the pro-vaccine and anti-vaccine. Everyone's, and you got to be like, I got to use my common sense here. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it grows on trees, that's cool. If it don't, then we don't need it. Now, that might not fit everyone's philosophy.
Might be too extreme.
But yeah, that's what I was making a joke with her about it. Like, we go and yesterday we harvested a bunch of Licorice right off the ground. We're extreme. We went and got coconuts off of a tree. We're extremists. You know, this is going to be too much.
Oh, okay.
Is this it?
Yeah.
And so, but it's like, but you know, and I'm not trying to get down on nobody because I know a lot of people are like living in like Russia, you know, where it's like freezing cold way up in Siberia, you know. And they're like, I'm trying to be raw, Dad. You make me feel so guilty for eating cooked food, and I'm sorry about all that. And I wasn't as smart back then as I was now. And now I have a lot more compassion and understanding because I do so much research and then really, really asking myself the tough questions. Like, come on, dude, like, what's really real, you know? Like you know, I got to do my thing. And it's like, raw foods brought me here. And God brought me here. And Mother Nature brought me here. And my soul brought me here. And love brought me here. Where I could do what I wanted to do because I read a book and it was like, eat the living foods and the same will quicken you. For the cooked, frozen, and rotten food that you eat, cooked, freezes, and rots your body also. I know raw foodists that live in cold places. When you get to a certain level of your endocrine glands and stuff, you realize that heat does not come from food, that it comes from bioelectrical conductivity. And most of us have been blapped and blipped and blugged and drugged and slugged and slogged down. And so those faculties are no longer working. And the path back to regeneration, I don't even recommend it anymore. I'm going to do it and keep going, full swing, especially 2020. And I'm not saying I don't recommend it. I'm going to make programs on my website, and then the people that show a genuine interest in that will see that this is great knowledge. The great knowledge of the regeneration of the organism. And who knows how much of the damage can be reversed after we've been blipped and blapped and drugged down to nothing. And people are like, well, my grandma tried the raw diet for 3 weeks and it didn't work. Well, that was after 14 surgeries, 12 prescription drugs for the last 19 years. She has no colon, no gallbladder. She had a headache, so they gave her a lobotomy. And then you say, well, then she tried the raw diet for 3 weeks when she was 92 years old and it didn't work. It's like you start at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, like, the raw and the vegan thing is a slower development and will lead to a longer life. But in our society, what we see is hugeness. Everyone's so huge that when they see a thin man like me, who's in other countries, I'm the perfect specimen.
Yeah.
In America, I'm just small because we have accelerated growth. We got 9-year-old girls, fully developed breasts having their period because they're exposed, and the accelerated growth that comes from the animal products. Now, did I say that was a bad thing? No, but I think everyone should be educated on the acceleration of the vital economy and how when they see these kids that are dying and deficient, they're just smaller children developing more slowly, and the more slowly that an organism develops, number one, the longer it lives, and number two, it's just basically, that's it. It takes longer to develop. So the longer that an organism takes to reach maturity, the longer it lives, 5 times past that. So turtles live to be 300 years old. Longevity. Are we going to have that? Dude, we're so busted up from Jack in the Box and Hamburger Helper and vaccines and antibiotics and separation from nature. The gut microbiome is diminishing in diversity due to so many things. We've got the water, the air. So now it's really about eternal love.
Amen.
Because I'll tell you, the vegans ain't living no longer than the carnivores or any more healthfully, and the carnivores are not living any longer and don't look any better than the vegans. Everyone is getting blasted from every angle, from the radiation, the non-ionizing radiation, which has been since 1936. There's been thousands of studies. And now it's just getting more and more and more, and we're swimming in a sea of non-ionizing radiation.
Yeah.
And that has implications, you know? And so it's like, that's why I'm saying, like, Jan McDonald, you're so extreme telling people to go outside, you know? It's like, that's extreme. So it's, and several people commented, and they always do, because there's always the wise ones. They're like, this world is upside down and backwards. This is Satan's world. So
yeah, it is, though.
It's God's world.
It's God's world, yeah.
It's Mother Nature. They still run it. But they stand back and say, yo, if you want to smoke that stuff, if you want to drink that stuff, if you want to eat that stuff, if you want to kill each other, if you want to kill everything, go be my guest. Because they're still going to be here in the end. They're going to be here. We can live in alignment with the eternal intelligence, or we can slowly diminish and think we're getting a little scrippity scraps out of nothing. But we really want to align ourselves as much as possible with the divine intelligence and flow with that, you know, and it'll teach us from the inside out. We live from the outside in. We live for pleasure instead of the joy of the self. You know what I'm saying? And I realize I have a lot of compassion for myself and for everyone else. I mean, the doo-doo runs downhill. So it's a whole monetary system, and all of us are just like on our grind, you know, just trying to make it through another day, selling stuff and doing stuff, and, you know, and it's tough, man. I know it's tough, man. I mean, she wants to keep going to college, so I'm like, okay, well, let's make some videos then. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm about ready to retire because I'm a freak from another world. So that's why I was like, well, let me just make some cooked foods and just talk about nothing, because that's what sells these days, is just brain damaged, brain dead people saying the dumbest things, and then larger groups of people resonate with that. With the chemicals and the GMOs, and like, yeah, and then I got a new prescription drug and it's been working for the last 3 weeks. I've only wanted to go on a school shooting a few times in the last month, you know? And so it's like, and those are our thought leaders. And I'm just thinking, wow, I just better shut up and disappear. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. I'm just on a riffer right now. It's coming through. I don't even care what I think. I don't even care about my own opinion. It bothers the hell out of me. When I meditate, I want my brain to shut up. And I'd like it if it permanently just went off. But apparently, it's going to be channeling stuff so that it can do this, so that you can keep going to college. So buy some cleanse and get her to go to college, and then in a year and a half, when she's done, then I'll retire and leave you alone, and I'll shut my mouth and disappear into the jungle. And, you know, then you'll know Dan made it. Because it's all
Everyone's
just,
like, well,
I mean,
wait.
come on. 11 years on the internet. I don't know if I'm still sane. I might not be. I don't know. You be the judge. You tell me. Go down in the comments, judge and jury me. I'm not even going to pay attention to myself.
Is Dan crazy?
That's the question. Dan's crazy, but in a good way. He means well, but he really is deficient. That's the thing. I mean, I've been doing this for like 20 years. I've never had one deficiency of anything ever.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just stupid.
That's what's so crazy. So I've never had one deficiency. I have had excesses. I've eaten way too much for way too long, and that's been the problem. So it's moderation and consumption. Your body thrives on a lot less than this whole, I don't even know how people do it. I mean, I'm a pig, and I just ate like a few too many macadamia nuts with lettuce. And then there's like, boy, this thing, I'm going to go back for another round at the buffet.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of hungry.
Oh my God.
It's like, that's your fourth plate, Bobby. Well, it's all right. You can try to get my money's worth, you know? I shouldn't make fun of people, because I used to love buffets and stuff. I love to eat because it's like a drug on your brain. But then the next day you feel like shiz or nizzer, and then you need the coffee and the blood thinners and the drugs, And I'm just like, I don't want to be on drugs, man. I don't really. The whole pharmaceutical thing, they want you to be a drug addict. But homie, don't play that, man. That's not my style.
It's not my style either. And I don't think most people want that, but it's like people don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Almost, you know?
Well, call me for a consultation. I'll set you on the road to Wellville. Because I have been through hell. Believe me, sometimes behind the scenes, your boy D is struggling hard with the psychology of, Google and Facebook and YouTube and like people. And just the fact keep coming back that the only hate I ever experienced is online. I've never had one single negative experience in my real life in regards to what I do on social media. It's been 100% positive people. So the positive people are real, but the negative people are not real because they never have any content. For the most part, the most negative people, they have maybe one or two stupid videos of their cat, or of their tent. Here's my tent. And I'm got 3,000 videos, so I'm like the courageous one, but I'm very sensitive, and I've been very sensitive, and I've been working on deep healing. That's why I'm talking about true healing. 20 years later, aren't you done, Dan? When are we done? Are you done? If you're done, you're dumb. You know what I mean? That's what I should say. I ain't trying to call nobody dumb, but but seriously, if you're done, you're dumb. Because life is still in you, baby. You got a breath, you better take advantage of it. You better do something. Or do nothing. Or, do something. Or master the art of doing nothing, because that's something. Because the greatest yogis never left the cave, never opened their mouth. They just prayed for the world with all their heart. I'm praying for you. She's praying for you. I've seen the miracle of prayer. I want to do prayers. That's why I want to be I don't want to be a guru. I want to be like a preacher. You know what I'm saying? I want to be like, yo! God loves you. Let's love each other today. Let's sing. Let's dance. Let's be grateful. Well, what about all the rules? There is only one rule, and that is love. Love yourself. That's been the greatest challenge. So for all of those of you who have struggled with loving yourself, your boy D here has been through fucking hell. Hating himself, criticizing himself, not good enough, and all that was the reflection of what was coming through on the videos. Those people are me, and I've been working on this, and I'm working on it. I'm hoping one day for salvation, for freedom to love myself as I am. And that's because it all goes back, and that's why I have so much compassion for everyone. And then there's all the drugs and the brain damage and the chemicals, and your parents don't know any better. They're feeding you rice-a-roni and hamburger helper and government cheese, you know what I'm saying, from the WIC program. It's like rubber. It's like I'm still getting that crap out of my colon. Thank God for the cleanse. Can you dig it? But with the cleanse, cleanse, there's also... I forgot we're about 7 hours into this video, and we forgot to mention the cascara. I used to peel cascara barks. Cascara is a laxative. That's another one of the things in here. So let me finish this. We'll do another round.
Cool.
It's like an hour to do 3 tests. This is so long. I hope that I'm not boring you to death.
You're good. And they're good. They're chilling. All right.
Play it again, Sam. So cascara is a laxative. The very small amount of cascara in here. It's not like you're going to have, explosive diarrhea.
Well, I've never had the laxative effect. Maybe this much.
Well, that's true. We're tripling up today.
Yeah.
But what I have had is I'm an expert. And I don't think I hate to admit it, but I love to poop. And I like to look at it. And I'm like, dude, you're doing good, bro. Awesome. Because your colon is really, really important. And I'll tell you this right now. I did a 40-day water fast. And on day 39, I took Clonic. And there was still the foulest smelling filth, mucus, pus, slime, sludge that smelled like rotten fish that was rolled in dog poop. On day 39, and I thought, surely, Lord, you have cleansed me by now. And after 40 days of only water, my liver and colon was still not clean. So when people are like, I'm not constipated, I'm like, you're constipated. Who's constipated? 100%. Unless the people have done the real stuff, the real work of the real knowledge of the real way, and it is extremely rare, and those people inspire me to no end. They're very rare. They're ostracized for sure in society because people are like, what do you mean you don't eat pizza? I have a cheat day once a week. I eat pizza. I'm not constipated. Take a water fast. Feel your mouth on day 5, 6, 7 and tell me you're not constipated. Watch what comes out of you. Days, weeks, even a month afterward. It's still the filthiest crap, junk, heavy metals, toxins, drugs from 40 years ago coming out of your system.
Yeah.
So there are very few who truly go the distance. And I'm not saying nothing, but I'm just saying, may the Lord bless me with the complete healing. Can you dig it? Now that's physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And we're talking some hardcore business. Because our families, they were tripping. And you started in your grandmama. Can you dig it? It started way before that, 7 generations really is where that's where it's connected all the way to 7 generations on the physical level. Obviously it goes all the way back into the eons of time, all the way back to the first single-celled amoeba and the evolution of consciousness and biology. But you as a physical entity started in your grandmother. Now what was your grandma doing to express and activate and instigate the DNA within her egg that then became your mother, that then became you? And so that's why it's important now for the young people to understand, to cleanse, purify, detoxify, regenerate, avoid the chemicals, avoid the psychopaths. They wear white coats and stethoscopes, and I'm not saying they're all bad. Some of them have well-meaning intentions, but let's just face it. If you go to school to learn how to be a mechanic, it's probably not a good idea for you to go and become a brain surgeon. Okay? Or if you go to school to become a writer, it's probably not good if you go and start engineering bridges. Can you understand? So the doctors have an education in pharmaceuticals. Mm-hmm. They know how to suppress your symptoms, but they don't know, and they know how to cut your organs out. And I'm not stupid. I've said this 100 times. I'll say it 100 more. I love emergency medicine. It is awesome. You cut your hand off, you smash your hand, you get burned, whatever. You get some kind of major virus. If we were stronger, it wouldn't happen, but we get weaker and weaker and weaker. But that's a long story in of itself. But
the emergency is like they do amazing life-saving stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
It's already jacked.
Yeah, they do. And so, but in general, like it's kind of like this. Your doctor, he doesn't really understand health. And I've talked to thousands of people. And they were fine until they went down that road and had 6 prescriptions and then took this and took that. Their hair started falling out. They were getting more and more psychotic. Then they couldn't sleep. Then they couldn't poop. Then they couldn't do anything. And then they were stuck in bed. And then it was like, okay, now what was the real cause? And I'm telling you, man, constipation. There's been so many books written about fasting and the benefits of fasting. Take all these psychiatric patients, fast them for 30 days, and they're not crazy anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, it happens all the time. The craziness, the depression, the insanity, it's all in your colon. So get the cleanse and use the foods. And even, no matter where you live or what you're doing, when those foods are in season, berries, melons, fruits, use water fasting and juice fasting and intermittent fasting, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but God, man, miss a meal, Imagine back in the old days when the carb up people, they'd freak out. Miss a meal, oh my God, you're going to mess up your metabolism. It's like, no. Human beings eat 3 to 4 times more than they need. They live off of 1/4 of what they eat, and their doctor lives on the other 2/3 or 3/4. See what I'm saying? And the only difference is you're sick, overweight, bloated with diabetes, about to lose your feet, and he's got a Mercedes and 2 houses in Italy and a wife with torpedo boobs that he just bought her and a big diamond ring, but he don't live no longer than nobody. The doctors, they don't live worth a hoot. They're the lowest. I think the dentists are the worst. And then the doctors after that. So go become a farmer and live for 80 or 90 years. You know what I'm saying? Go breathe fresh air and keep your colon clean and everything else that's common sense that I've shared a million times. It's the same thing over and over again. It's like, Dan, come up with something new like all these other creative YouTubers. It's like, health is so simple. I could make a 10-minute video and explain the whole thing to you, exactly what you need to do to completely cure yourself of, don't use the C word, to completely heal yourself of anything. Unless that's the thing, though. I mean, a lot of it is very deeply embedded, sclerotic, indurated scar tissue that has just become indurated, and there's no more oxygen flow. And other than extremely painful body work, Rolfing type work, I don't know how to get that scar tissue, those deposits out, and most people are not willing to go through the hell of it because of the emotional and the physical pain that's associated with the release of all these traumas. But hey, let's keep doing our best. If you have questions, I mean, I don't know all the answers. I'm just saying that I've been through a lot. I have friends in high places. I've been super blessed to be surrounded by light beings and to have had my ass kicked by this life. And I've had to learn, you know? And YouTube has been a huge blessing too, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just learning how to love myself just the way I am with all of my flaws or whatever the hell that is, and not knowing. We're all supposed to pretend like we know. I just know what I do know, and I shared some of that on this video. But I don't know what I don't know, and there's a lot of things I don't know, you know, and that's okay. But it's like, but when it comes to health and healing, the ultimate medicine is already in you. And that's why I don't really believe, like, okay, there are some certain cases where some little bit of this and that, drug-wise, might be helpful. Maybe less than 1%. The rest of it, I was going to say dump it into the ocean, but it's already going into the ocean through the biosludge. And it's killing all the fish, and it's killing the earth and killing the planet. And, you know, 2020 to 2030 is the decade of, are humans going to make it or not? Mm-hmm. You know? And I'm gonna go for, although I have two sides. I'm a skeptic, but I'm also, I believe in miracles. You know? And so it's like the realistic side of me, the mathematical left brain is like, we already drove over the cliff, and you're like screaming, hit the brakes. It's like, we're already, you know, it's like, it doesn't, no matter how much you hit the brakes, it's like we've already, but then again, human beings, they may awaken to the light of Christ and start loving one another and start loving the animals and start loving the planet and start loving the earth and planting fruit trees and caring for one another. And then our love and our consciousness may obliterate the psychopathic reptiles that are spraying and injecting and dumping chemicals into the water and the food and poisoning the food and poisoning everyone and against each other, so that we're all fighting amongst, and they're up here laughing, ha ha ha, these idiots, you know, and they don't even care about money. They are playing God because they have enough money.
Yeah.
They have more than enough money. They want to be remembered as the people that were the smart ones, but they don't know they're sick. You know, one of the main guys, he eats at McDonald's. He's a multi-billionaire, but he eats at McDonald's. So he can't be that smart. Can you dig it? Word. Let's see how this one is.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like this one...
You know, The first one was like punchy. The
Mm-hmm.
second one was smooth.
Yeah.
But this one is like pleasant.
That's
That's
see?
what you were saying. You're right.
That's
So
what I
that's
was
what
saying.
started the whole argument.
Me and my
She
mom.
wins.
This is what we do.
She wins.
I win.
I was like, no, orange juice, you know. But no,
Right?
I think I'm going to do it with the grapefruit juice from now on.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you know, that's a million times. The link down below, you know, you guys are sophisticated internet people. You know that there's a link for the cleanse. And I'm back in Pyridine 100%. You know,
They're great. Like,
It's just-
saying,
yeah.
I'm this kid, but I'm just like, it's epic.
yeah, you and your mom and everyone I know.
We all do
Everyone
it.
I know, they love it.
It's like, it's great, and it jacks you up, you
It's
know?
a huge blessing.
It is a huge
And
blessing.
yeah, if we were all living on, had all this epic food and stuff
You
like
know.
that, you know,
Yeah.
and if everyone had that or whatever. But yeah, these are just herbs. And then you, obviously, if you would go out and gather these herbs. Oh, we forgot. We did the cascara, which was a tree. I was going to only go 1 hour, but you know, the cascara is a tree that is a bark that I used to peel. And when you peel the bark, and then you take it to the place and you put it on your backpack and you schlep it out of the woods, then then you get that all in your fingers, and then you have your little sandwich or whatever, and then you're like, what happened? Oh yeah, you got to wash your hands really good from the cascara bark, or if you touch
Oh,
your
really?
mouth or anything, then it'll be a very concentrated dose. Yeah, so they take the bark and they dry it,
Oh my
and
god.
then they put that, but it's a very small
Has that
amount.
happened to you?
When way back in the day,
Way
and then I
back.
learned, you know.
Wow.
And we used to take that was one of my jobs.
Serious?
Schlep out these big
What?
old bundles, like 50-pound bundles, and then you stick it on there, and they
Oh my
pay you cash, and then they put it in the medicine. They've been doing this for years.
Wow.
Old Indian remedy for sure.
Wow.
American Indians. And then the ginseng is also in there. That's a small amount, but that's got anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. It's good for your brain and it's good for your hormones. That's why Lou put that in there. It's just like a herbal boost. And then the corn silk is good for the urinary tract and
Very
also
helpful.
just keeping the gastrointestinal tract healthy. So, you know, it took me an hour to tell you to keep your gut clean. Focus on your gut. Your gut is an ecology, and you know, when you understand like nature and the microbiome and the microbiology, and that you are soil, like the microbes in the soil, the microbes in you, you know. So keep your gut healthy, and then avoid the, you know, chemical holocaust that diminishes the diversity and kills the microorganisms, so that you get less and less and less and less, and then you can eat less and less and less foods, and you digest less and less good. So build that thing up. Take the time to build it up, and I'll make some videos. I've got a protocol, a gut building protocol, and I almost got killed by the hospitals. You know, they gave me like 20 rounds of antibiotics. I went in there and I said, just give me 1 round of antibiotics, and then they chained me to the bed, and because I was like, okay, I'm cool, and they're like, no, you can't leave. And then they charged me $30,000 to hold me as a prisoner. That was my experience of, so this
That was
is
like
the pharmaceutical.
6 years ago?
Yeah, this is the pharmaceutical medical
Oh my
cartel,
God, I
because
didn't
someone
know
poisoned
that.
me.
Yeah.
And that's when I got swollen, and I was under a lot of pressure and stress at the time.
Oof.
My nervous system, my immune system was down. And then I went in there, and they held me prisoner, and they pumped me so full of antibiotics that it took me years to recover, literally. And you guys were like, wow, Dan, you don't look so good, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, and I met Sergey Boytenko one day, and I was just and that was shortly after I got out of the hospital, and Sergey was like, oh my God, you know, raw foods is terrible. I think I'm the reason he went back to eating animal products or something, you know, because I didn't have an attention span. I was so broken at the time, you know, I was just broken.
Oh.
And I had to, and then Kauai brought me here.
Wow.
And then I learned how to regenerate my microbiome, and so now my digestion is like fire, and now I'm just working on my brain. It's the hardest thing because of the, the vaccines damage, you know, is real. So it's time to wakey, okay? And people are waking up more and more. They're starting to get it. The Jimmy Kimmels of the world are, you can have mine, you dumb shit. You know what I mean? You can have my vaccine. But I'm not, you're not. No. No, no, no. I know what's in there. I know what they do, and I've experienced it for 45 years, and that's all I've ever done is try to get this thing to work as good as I can. And believe me, it is like hell. So I know what it's like to have mild autism and inflammation and encephalitis and immunoexcitotoxicity and aluminum poisoning, creating oxidative stress for 45 years. Okay, now I hate to pound it home, but that's what makes me an expert, is how to manage this and chip away at it slowly but surely. And slowly but surely, we're improving the cognitions of our Alzheimer's grandma, dementia, our autistic kids, our autoimmune diseases, and the people with the nervous system disorders by taking the protocols and cleaning ourselves out and getting that crap out that the body loves to store until you do the real work. And I'm not talking about intermittent fasting for 16 hours a day. The purging process doesn't even start until day 4 or 5 on a water fast. So we really need to start diving deep into true health knowledge. And I said before, I don't have all the knowledge, but I have a lot. And what these other people doing would pull me down so low. What a lot of people are doing for healing and health would pull me down to such a low level that I'd feel like a dead slug turd. So I'm not listening to anybody. I'm going for the highest. And these principles, and they are ancient. The Egyptians were doing them 10,000 years ago, and they've had the knowledge, but the church, the Catholic Church, the new church of pharmaceuticals, they don't want you free. And I want to see you free because I want to be free, and you are me, and we are one. So we have love and knowledge supreme. We need the divine knowledge, and the divine intelligence is the ultimate medicine. Yes, these herbs and things can help us for sure in this physical protoplasm, but the divine intelligence, can we learn to listen and sit still? And I know how hard it is for this wacky brain and all this radiation and all this addictions to the phone and addictions to drugs and addictions to food, and we're addicted to everything. And breaking those addictions and freeing myself like a true yogi master is what I am here to do. Period. That's me. I'm going to love you guys up with plant-based foods and just tasty stuff, and I'm going to have fun up here. And then over there on my online classes, we'll get deep, and we'll sit, and I'll look you straight in the eye on this camera when I'll sit right there, and I'll make these online classes, and we'll get educated on 20 years of raw foods and fasting. And that isn't the be-all, end-all of anything. I mean, there's breathing, and there's exercise, and there's sleep, and there's emotions, and there's mind, and there's so many factors. But take care of yourself, and let's see if we can save this planet. Let's see if we can save this planet.
Amen. Oh, so good.
Definitely the grapefruit.
Yeah. Right?
Peace, y'all.
Peace.